Simplified Chaos, episode 157.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hey everybody, welcome to Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian and I'm with my co-host and husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? We hope you all are having an amazing week. We are. We've got another great episode here for you today. Jilly, what are we going to get into?
The power in a simplified wardrobe.
Yes, we have not talked about our wardrobe in quite some time, and we were just chatting yesterday and we're like, it's time to bring it back. Time to do a little check-in on wardrobe. And we did one very early, like one of our first episodes was around wardrobe. Actually, I think we did a couple in those early podcast days of ours.
Yeah, I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, we definitely will. But before we get into all this, I know it's an exciting topic. I'm really excited to talk about it. Let's show a little gratitude. So Jilly, what are you grateful for this week?
I am grateful for Lucille's beautiful flexibility and just rolling with the punches, man. And
yeah.
We traveled to Florida and then we got back and we were home for like 4 glorious days. And then I was like, my dad's leaving to go back to Arizona and I really would love to see him in person. So Lucille was like, you want to head back to Maryland on Friday? And she's like, yeah. So we hopped in the car and drove to Maryland, and I got to have a nice dinner date with just my dad and my sister and just have really good conversation at one of our favorite places in Annapolis, Vin 909.
Yeah.
To bomb. And we got to
original.
We got to have bone marrow, which was awesome.
Yeah, bone marrow is legit.
My dad was like, I've never had it where you have to scoop it out of the bone. I was like, oh yeah, Dad, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lucille's been a trooper. We did like a spontaneous trip back to Maryland, and then there was a birthday party going on, and we're like, let's go to that. Let's go to the park. Let's do this. And she's flexible, man.
She's very good with the flow. She's learned from the best.
I like to think that it's all because of our role modeling. Maybe a little bit of it, but I think mostly just because that's Lucille.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very grateful and gracious that she's able to kind of flow with our life, and it makes me real happy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What about you?
I am grateful for Himalayan salt crystals, also known as Soleil, which is SOLE. And basically, what we've been learning about water is that not all water actually hydrates you. And oftentimes, like, water just runs right through you, no pun intended or anything like that. I don't know if there was a pun there or not. But you need some kind of, like, minerals in there for your body to absorb it. And, you know, salt is one of those things that helps absorb it like you need it, to help actually stay hydrated. It's good for electrolytes and whatnot. So like I learned about this from another podcast, and I can't remember the doctor's name who we heard that from.
Dr. Al.
Oh, Dr. Al. Yeah. And, we were like, well, let's try it out. So, I just have like a 12-ounce glass of water to start my day and pour just a little. It's like basically a teaspoon. Like you put water in this like little jar of salt crystals. And, it takes about 24 hours for the water to get fully saturated with the salt there. So you just take a little scoop, a little teaspoon of that and put it in the water. And you can definitely taste like your water is a little salty at that point. But I've actually noticed a difference. Like I feel like less thirsty throughout the morning and whatnot. And like I feel like, my body is absorbing it. But I've only been doing it for about a week. And it feels great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I kind of wish we would have taken some tests to like test out our... Because I know he did some tests beforehand and realized that, what were the levels? Maybe it was just, I don't want to botch it. But anyway, he were like, you need to drink more water. The one guy was giving him tests, or his doctor was like, you need to hydrate better. And then he was like, I drink water like all the time. And he realized like it was the type of water like he was drinking. And So yeah, it would have been cool to do tests before and after, but yeah, I have felt a difference. I feel like I'm not peeing as frequently, which is interesting, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering if that's because
Your body's absorbing.
yeah, so that is fascinating because you know me, I pee all the time. So I have been noticing that difference, but I will agree, I haven't been as like downing water all the time thinking like I'm super thirsty. So I wonder if I'm guessing that's to attribute
Yeah.
to that. So
I
yeah.
saw a very interesting headline from the Babylon Bee, and it's funny and has to do with coffee and peeing. It's basically saying they're still trying to figure out why 12 ounces of coffee results into 1 gallon of pee. And that's so true. Like
It
after
is.
drinking water, like, at least this stuff I'm good. But like the second that I have just a cup of coffee, I've got like a gallon of pee coming after that. It's just so weird. And I'm very curious as to the science behind that, but it's so true. Yet, it's also funny at the same time. But anyway, enough about Himalayan salt crystals and coffee and gallons of pee. Let's talk about wardrobe, Jilly.
Yes. So it kind of brought this to the forefront to like talk about again is one of my dear friends that I've known for a while and also a listener of the podcast was just messaging me, just kind of saying how much one of the podcasts or many blog posts that I've done on my blog on the Clean and Simple Life, like I created a wardrobe rule about simplifying your wardrobe. And I've done many wardrobe challenges to kind of help like streamline my closet, to help get rid of things that were taking up space, causing me stress, that were just overflowing closets, drawers, many dressers full of things before in my heyday. And after all the many challenges that I did do to kind of help streamline my wardrobe, I came up, I guess all of it had one thing in common. Like everything that I was wearing or I wanted to keep because I was wearing and I felt good was that the piece of clothing made me feel 100% comfortable and confident, which I guess that'll change once being a mom. It's like you want versatility, you want comfort, but you still also really want to feel sexy and vibrant. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't go away. So that one rule I posted about a lot on Instagram when I first discovered it. And I didn't think it was anything like, I feel like it was kind of simple, but also euphoric to me. Like it was like, yes, that's like this pivotal rule or just one slogan or whatever I can use to like just keep things that really make me feel that way. And then it just made it so much easier to get rid of things. And a friend, this is a long story, sorry. Anyway,
No.
and the friend reached out and was just saying how that rule has changed the whole way she dresses and how she had so much stress over finding clothing that fit her or that she would embrace for maybe the ever-changing body. Because, as women, we go through all kinds of stages and seasonal things. And yeah, I guess, and I've heard a couple people reach out about the wardrobe thing that I had created. And I guess it really didn't hit me like, maybe we should talk about this again. I think this is something to share more about. I mean, it seems easy to me now, easier just because I've been doing it so long. But I was like, I think it's important to talk about our wardrobe again because I think it's something that we kind of have streamlined and simplified down that I think sometimes we forget how important and how easy and more confident it's made just doing the day-to-day things, even like so traveling as well. I feel like we've got a rhythm down that is worth sharing and just kind of, I don't know, talking about the power of like streamlining your wardrobe to fit our life.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it's a little bit different story. Like I don't buy clothes very often and I'm probably wearing the same shirt that I've had 5 or 6 years ago and usually that's kind of my cycle. Like I'll go long time with just wearing, the same things over and over again and I don't have many clothes. In fact, I've gotten rid of a ton of clothes and I probably still can get rid of a little bit more. Like one of the things that have changed since we last really talked about this topic, I feel, is the pandemic and, me switching to remote work. So like I have probably more dress shirts than I need at this point because I'm not going into the office every day. And if I do go into the office, it's maybe once, a couple days every couple months or so. And even when I went to the office the last time, I wore the same shirt the whole week because nobody else is in the office. So like, there are areas for me to downsize, but like for me, my rules are just like keep it simple. And I don't have many shirts that have patterns on them. They're usually just plain t-shirts, whether they're a crew neck or a V-neck. I've got a pair of gray jeans, a pair of navy blue jeans, but I try to keep all my colors like neutral, especially like pants. Like I either go black, navy, or olive green, and that's kind of it. Maybe a dark gray. And then the same thing with like the shirts. I don't go crazy with colors or anything like that. And so for me, it just keeps it simple. But I want to say like the biggest game changer in the wardrobe thing, and it's something that I'm still doing, that what we just kind of discovered when we did the podcast, was the whole Marie Kondo folding method, which is crazy. I don't know if anybody even remembers Marie Kondo. She was like all the rage. I don't even know if she's the rage anymore, but she had like this like 2-year time period where it was like, what was the name of her? Do you remember the name of her show on Netflix?
Does it spark joy?
Yeah, well, that was like part of asking, does your clothes spark joy? And I'm just like, no, they're just clothes, it didn't bother me at all. But the folding style is something I found just absolutely fascinating. And it takes a little bit more work and effort, but kind of going back to what Jill said about packing, it makes it so much easier. So I've actually been keeping that up for a better part of, 3.5, 4 years almost. And I just find it great. I actually have empty shelves in my drawers, and I don't really hang too much stuff up. So like, I'm only taking up a fraction of a space with my wardrobe right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and something you said about how the color palette that you want.
Right.
And I think that takes a lot of time, or just you need to create space to like reflect and just take a deep dive at like, what am I always drawn to? What are the colors or styles of clothes that make me show up feeling like my best self? And I know it sounds really cheesy and silly, but it's like, how do you want to feel when you step into every day? Like, I want to feel, like for me, it's like, I want to feel fun, vibrational. I want to feel sexy, but I also want to be really comfortable. So it's like anything I put on, I want my clothes to reflect those type of words.
Yeah.
And I think we might think of me being kind of silly. Like, how does a wardrobe like change the way you show up? I think it's a tremendous amount. I think what you put on your body affects your outer world, your inner world. I know for women especially, and just this is my perspective, it's like every day could be different. My body is changing and shifting based on my hormones and like the time of the month. And there can be times I wake up and tell myself this horrible narrative, this horrendous narrative about like my body. Like, I can't believe you look like this. Like, why am I so bloated today? Or I could fit in these pants yesterday and now I can't. Like, what's wrong with me? And I can compare myself and go down this rabbit hole. And I don't know if men are similar, but I know for women, like, we're constantly, I think, looking at ourselves, comparing, judging ourselves, and our body is changing. And part of me, like through motherhood and everything, it's like, fuck, like what if I embraced these changes and curated my wardrobe to fit all seasons of like how I'm showing up in the world and how my body's feeling? And what if instead of fighting it and creating these horrible I can't say narratives.
You can't say narratives.
I'll just say story. These horrible stories about my body. And what if I just picked clothes that loved it, nourished it, embraced it, and made me show up feeling confident no matter how my body shows up that day? And that has like been a game changer. It's like going back to that one rule, 100% comfortable and confident. So it's like, I made sure that I invested in 2 pairs of pants that I love wearing. They're like joggers and there's elastic. There's so much room for growth, for expansion, which is great. And I think you think about life, like we should always leave space for like expansion and contraction with whatever, like leave space for chaos, leave space for things to go wrong, for struggles. And I think that's the same with wardrobe. I was like making all these connections about wardrobe and life and how I think we need to create that same comfort, confident, but also flexibility in like rolling with the punches. And like, I have an outfit for this kind of feeling today to embrace and love myself even more because my inner self is like feeling like shit, but I want to make my outer self like just kind of hug to see what's going on the inside, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's amazing what they're doing with fabrics and materials these days. Like even jeans aren't jeans anymore. Like they're basically like, what is it, Lululemon? What is that shit called? I don't even know. The stretchy kind of stuff.
Lululemon?
Yeah, Lululemons. But like, I bought a pair of Mugsy jeans recently, and I mean, it's insane. Like, I it stretches so much. Like, I have to wear a belt with them because the waist is, so flexible, which is fine. It's good, but I mean, they still fit comfortably. But some days that it might, ride around the bottom of my ass, and I'm like, this isn't 1995 anymore, Nick. This isn't middle school Nick anymore. But like, it's just amazing just how comfortable they are. How like it's easy to like, if I want to bust out some squats, in the middle of a work day or something like that, I can do that and not worry about splitting, my ass open. So yeah, no, it's just crazy with the materials, and it's just amazing like the comfort that you get. And so like, yeah, I look at that for jeans. I bought into the joggers, and I've got 2 pairs of joggers, that are also very flexible. And last year, I upped my shorts game. I wanted to do something that I can wear out and, can go to actually a nice dinner. But also, if we were to pull off on the side of the road and find a lake to jump into, like seriously, that's actually happened down here before. Is like I didn't have the proper shorts, and I was like, you know what? I wanted shorts where I can, maybe go to a winery, and then on the way home, if we found a lake, that they're a bathing suit as well. So
Yeah.
I've got these 2 pairs of shorts from Fair Harbor that are just amazing. They look just like, khaki shorts. I've got a pair of black and I
They're
got a pair
sexy,
of
yeah.
navy. And hell, if Lucille wants to jump in a lake, I'm going in with her.
Yeah, and I kind of reflected over that as well. Like, I think one of the things that's really helped simplified our wardrobe is that we kind of focus on the basics, but but basics with versatility and that are
Yeah.
open ended so that we're not consuming so much clothing. Like, we're very intentional about choosing things that we could wear to a winery, or we could wear to go play with Lucille at a playground, or we could wear, to a really nice date night. So I think it's really important that whatever you are choosing, that it's open ended. So that way you don't have to buy like all of the things for all the occasions. It's like, no, think about the life you lead, think about how you want to show up, and then like convert your wardrobe to match that. So for example, like when I buy dresses now, it's like I want them to be flowy. Like I want them to have some kind of elastic in them. I want them to be gracious for those days where I don't want it to be hugging me super tight. And I put shorts underneath with like all my dresses, but like I can put a blazer over it and wear it to a wedding, or I could, not wear anything with it and just my shirt and maybe a bikini top and wear it to the beach, or just wear it to go to a playground. Like, I think choosing basics in clothing that are open-ended that you can use for like any occasion
Yeah.
is like been really a game changer, and just seeing how far our wardrobe can go, even though it'd be one piece, like it could be used for so many different occasions.
Yeah. And I know I said this in one of our earlier episodes, and I'll say it again, and when I said this in the earlier episode is when I was still in the office, but like I would wear the same pair of pants multiple times a week, and even sometimes the same shirt. And like I said, recently I've definitely been going to the office with the same shirt every day. And even if there were people there, I probably wouldn't give a crap anymore. Like, it's just one of those things where, I don't need all the clothes or anything like that. Like, I can make things work for a couple days during the week and, still be good. And, there are different combinations. You can wear different pants or, or different shirts just depending on, what pair. But yeah, like, I'm not going to, I have to go out of my way to find something different each day to wear, especially if I'm like comfortable in what it is that I'm wearing and it's not dirty.
And maybe you can attest to this and maybe you have the same thought, but I think obviously the more you wear clothes, the more you're aware of like, all right, what fabrics do I like? What
Yeah.
kind of cuts of shirt do I like? You know your body best, and like what you keep putting on, clearly you really put it on for a reason. So like for me, it's like I really like scoop necks, or I really like asymmetrical with certain tops. And I know I like thinner fabrics. I don't really like super thick things. And I don't like blouses made out of like really interesting materials that I have to go get dry cleaned, or things that have buttons and things that are constricting. So I think like the more you reflect over those key items that you pull out all the time that make you feel really confident, it's like it kind of helps you kind of get rid of the excess and the bullshit in your closet too.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, is this the type of fabric I like? Are these the colors that make me feel the best? For me, it's like I like army green. I'm always drawn to black, a lot of neutral colors, some certain blues. Like it's like very specific. Like I know the colors that make me feel energetically me and like be the best version of me. And then I know the colors that I'm like, I'm not really feeling myself in. So I think just knowing your color palette, like the things you always are drawn to, and then just knowing the style, the fabric, and the little details. But it seems like all of these decisions, but the more you do it, it's like it helps you like, nope, this doesn't fit that description, this doesn't fit that description. And then when you're buying new clothes, it's like, oh, I totally know all of the things, and it makes even shopping that much easier if you have to replace something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I thought you brought up a good point there, is that knowing what clothes that you wear often, like I've gotten to the point where my wardrobe is I wear all the clothes that I have. Like, and I don't have a lot. I wear them all. I've gotten rid of, and I've made conscious decisions over the last couple of years. I'm like, you know what? I don't wear this. I don't need it anymore. Like, I'll send it to Goodwill for a donation, or Purple Heart or whatever. And really the last piece of the puzzle is the work clothes. I know I have some that I can probably kindly let go at this point, because, you know, I'm not going into the office, and I don't have any plans on doing that anytime soon. And, you know, if I do have to go in the office, I have 2 or 3 dress shirts that I can choose from rather than 8. You know, so I can get rid of some, and it's not like we're going to weddings every weekend. You know, those come up once in a blue moon, or some kind of an occasion where I need to dress up. I can use the same dress shirt. So, you know, there's still always room for improvement. But one of the cool tools that we had learned early on, and this is a good way if like you really want to try to figure out, you know, what you're wearing and what you're not wearing. And this is especially true if like you hang your clothes up, is to turn your hangers backwards so that they're facing you, and rather than facing in towards the closet. And when you wear a piece of clothing, you then turn the hanger around the opposite way, and you knowing that you wore it. And then after, you know, 1 month or even 2 months, you can say, okay, well, I've never worn this, and then you can just pull those out of your closet. The same thing kind of goes with like your drawers. What you can do is, if you've worn something, keep it at the front of the drawer. And if you find your stuff at the back of the drawer that you're not even wearing anymore, then it's time to probably get rid of that as well. Like the front of the drawer stuff's going to be the stuff that you're wearing over and over again. So there are ways to like cleverly figure out what it is that you're wearing and what you're not wearing. And then you can make some decisions just based on what you see happening.
I think that's a great way to create awareness on like what your style is too, and like a really easy way. If you're like, I don't really know what my style is, well, what are you putting on all the time?
Yeah.
And then embrace that even more so. And I think something else that I haven't mentioned is like what has simplified my wardrobe is like the mindset shift on not really giving a shit of what other people think. So
Huge.
Dressing for you on how you're feeling and how you want to show up in the world, and not giving a flying fuck how everyone else is going to judge you. And eventually I think you create your own style, just embracing what makes you feel you. Like, for example, for me, I know I wear this specific hat. It's an accessory. It's part of my wardrobe, but I wear this one hat. It's a sun hat. It's like green, and I show up with it almost everywhere. And sometimes I get in my head like, man, I wear this hat a lot. People are probably like, why does she wear this hat so much? But it's almost become this trademark of like, oh, Jill's the one with the hats. Like I get comments like, oh, she's got her Indiana Jones hat on. But you know what? It's fun because it's like, that's me. That's my trademark now. It's like I'm kind of creating my own style and not giving a shit about what anybody else feels, but it makes me show up and feel like the way I want to show up in life. I know it sounds really cheesy, but I think the mindset part is so huge, because the less you care about what other people think, the more you start creating this unique, amazing style that, I don't know, wraps you up in like the confidence that you need just to thrive during the day. And I think each day is so important to show up like being who you want to be.
Yeah, well, you rock those hats, babe. And you get a ton of compliments on them, so you keep doing that.
But I don't do it for them.
I know you don't. I'm just saying.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, to your point is, you know, that I'm the same thing with hats. Like when I was younger, like I collected hats. Like I had a ton of hat. I had a hat for every day of the month, you know, Major League Baseball teams, basketball, hockey, you name it. But now I still have probably around a dozen hats, but I think there's really only 2, maybe 3 that I wear consistently. So, you know, and some of them are really old and really dirty. I use them to play softball. They can probably be put by the wayside, so to say, and thank them for their service. So yeah, I mean, like I said, there's always room for improvement, and just talking about this, it's just like, okay, now I've got some more things that I have to do. But yeah, I think the other thing that we haven't really talked about, we talked about clothes, but we haven't talked about shoes, the other accessory.
Yeah.
And that's been something that we've been down a little road on that as well. We've both kind of changed the style shoe that we're wearing, which is causing us to look at some of our other shoes that we've had and kindly putting them, out, whether we're selling them or throwing them out. But you and I have gone more towards the barefoot style of shoe. It's wider in the toe frame so that your feet have room to expand like they're supposed to, like when you're normally walking. And, there's very, very low profile, no support basically whatsoever, but it helps you get that natural barefoot walk. And they come in boots, they come in running shoes, they come in casual shoes. Like there's all kinds of different styles of these barefoot shoes. I had no idea. So, we're slowly kind of shifting our shoe part of our wardrobe over. And, that's been an interesting experience. For me, I don't like buying shoes. Like this is kind of a weird thing for me. Like I would buy a pair or two pairs of shoes in a year, and then that would last like 4 or 5 years until I would buy my next pair of shoes. But now it's just like, okay, I'm really enjoying how I feel wearing these shoes. I'm actually getting some better benefits. Like I've had some knee pain and that's gone away from wearing these shoes. But I've been paying with my shoes with credit card points. Like I've been waiting until I racked up enough points, or cash dollars. I'll buy those shoes. So essentially I've been, getting new shoes for free. But, so I've got 3 pairs of barefoot shoes. I have a pair of boots. I have a pair of casual shoes, and then a pair of like athletic shoes, and they're working great for me right now. I might get one more pair of athletic shoes because these ones are starting to get a hold of. I've been wearing them a lot. But yeah, no, that's been keeping it simple, is keeping it down to those 3 pairs of shoes, and then keeping a nice pair of dress shoes just in case, the going into the office or the situation of a random wedding comes up.
Yeah, changing our style and knowing confidently, like the barefoot style, like where you can bend the shoe in half and it folds easily. Like that's been a game changer in like simplifying how I pack too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've gotten rid of like my Vans because they're so narrow in the toes, and I notice my toes like just need way more room now ever since having Lucille. It's like a game changer in like when I walk. Like I want to be able to walk, I want to be able to hike, I want to be able to do all the things now. I don't have to like bring all the shoes with me to change for different occasions. So just knowing the style of shoe that fits my body the best has been a game changer in getting rid of so many shoes that I was holding on to. Like I had multiple pairs of like wedges and high heels, and I'm like, I don't wear these anymore.
Yeah.
It may be once in a blue moon that I might wear to a wedding, but immediately when I hit the dance floor, I'm putting on a pair of shoes that I can like.
Yeah, you had to bring a pair of flats in your purse.
Yeah, so I'm like, why am I even going through this step? And it's thinking about it, it's really for the aesthetic of like putting on a show or performance of like looking a certain way. And I'm like, who am I trying to impress? Like, I don't feel, maybe a little bit, but I really don't feel any sexier wearing heels because I know how uncomfortable they make my feet now. So I'm slowly been getting rid of like, high heels or anything with like a heel or a wedge, because I'm just like, it's not worth keeping to get dusty in my closet anymore. I don't feel like as confident and sexy in them anymore. I think I was doing it more for the appearance and the look for other people. Now just reflecting on it, it wasn't really for myself. So I think just knowing the style of shoe that fits your body the best and helps you live the life you want. Like with us, I think, like you said, like one minute we might be walking in a park, the next minute we might be like putting our toes in the sand or like walking near the lake or going on a hike. Like we want openness and versatility with our shoes as well. And I think getting over that hump of like thinking what other people might think of our shoes, it's like, nah, these shoes are being worn to freaking death because they're comfortable and we wear them all the time, and they're probably stinky as hell, but I love them.
Yeah, no, I do too. And I'm going to continue to wear them until I wear them out. And I want to go back to something, so it's just like, we've talked about getting rid of clothes and the ease of getting rid of clothes. I know one hesitation that a lot of people have, it's like, well, I may have paid a lot of money for these clothes, and, good quality clothes, yeah, you're probably going to pay a lot of money for them. But if you paid a lot of money for those clothes and it's just hanging up in the closet, sitting in a drawer, or, shoes just on a shoe rack somewhere and you're not wearing them, it's the same thing as if you gave it to somebody else, through goodwill. It's like, at least it's now getting used by somebody rather than just sitting in a closet. So I understand that there's always a lot of hesitation, just kind of thinking back, oh, well, I spent, $128 on this dress or on these pair of shoes. But, at the same time, it's like, yeah, you spent the money, it's in your possession, but it's just taking up space. Like it's obviously something that maybe doesn't make you feel confident, doesn't make you feel sexy, doesn't fit right. But, we just got to get over that mindset and just start saying, you know what? Okay, it was nice. I tried it out. This isn't for me. Maybe I can find a good home for this. And Goodwill's a great thing, but, people buy clothes on Facebook Marketplace. Like you sold a pair of shoes on Facebook Marketplace not too long ago. So
there's so many apps now.
Yeah. So, there's definitely ways and doing yard sales and doing Facebook Marketplace and like meeting these people face to face as they pick up the item, like you just know it's going to a good home. And a lot of these people just express like, I've been looking all over for this or something like that. So to me, that's just a great feeling. And knowing that, yeah, maybe it didn't work out for me, but it's certainly going to work out for this other person. So let that go. That's just, and that's a tough thing. It's easier said than done. It is hard-earned money spent, but I to me, it warms my heart just to see something going to somebody else who's gonna cherish it and may make them feel sexy or them comfortable or whatever. So yeah, I would just say that's an easy way to kind of like get over that whole I spent this amount of money on that kind of thing.
And I also think part of the process of like learning how to simplify your wardrobe and curate your kind of wardrobe that makes you feel a certain way and it's like easy to take care of is like we all have to go through that discomfort of like sunken costs, because if we don't feel the pain, we don't understand and learn the lesson.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I got rid of in the beginning, not anymore, but I had to go through that hard lesson of like I was really pretty frivolous with my spending. Like I would buy a lot of fast fashion. I would go shopping all the time. And I spent a lot of money on clothes that really didn't serve the purpose I wanted because I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't really reflecting over my life or I guess my style either. It was just kind of like mindless shopping habits. But I think like you have to hurt a little and have those sunken costs and learn that lesson. Like I don't want this to happen again. Like I want all of that money I spent towards clothes. I want that to go towards what I value in life. And honestly, mindless shopping is not what I value personally. So I think that's just part of the phase of like realizing what your style is or how you want your wardrobe to look or feel. So we've all been there. I think there's a lot of people who've done that and realized that was a huge mistake. But I think that's part of growing and realizing that lesson of like, I have to change something.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally. And I think the only thing in my closet that sits in my closet that I haven't worn in more than 5 years is my wedding dress.
I was going to say, I was going to blurt it out, but I was going to let you say it.
That's the only thing. Everything else in there has been used this past year. And if it hasn't, I'm going to be going in there. This episode is a great reminder for ourselves to like
spring cleaning, baby.
Yeah. To reflect over our wardrobe, to go through our drawers and to kind of do a deep dive on what we have been putting to use and has a purpose. And then like what no longer is serving us or has holes in it and it's just like falling apart, which is more the case, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, it's that time of the year. So I'm motivated to do this. I hope you all are motivated to do this. Put some pictures out on Instagram of like, going through your wardrobe or putting stuff in bags to go to Goodwill or, even if you're going to get ready to sell something on Facebook Marketplace, just put it out there on Instagram, tag us in it at simplified.chaos and just show us that you're making progress here with this. This is fun stuff. Like I actually really geek out about this stuff. It's really just fascinating to me.
Yeah, or even pictures of you like rocking stuff that make you feel confident and sexy and comfortable, and you're like, this is my style. I'm honing it. I'm curating it, and the rest of the shit's like doesn't serve me anymore.
That's right. Yeah. I have to put my joggers picture out there.
It is very sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
When I had the mustache.
We're going to have to put out some pictures too. I think
will.
We'll have to do a little fashion show.
Fashion week.
Simplified fashion week. Right. Oh gosh, this should be fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any last words before we get into resources here, Jilly?
Oh, also, if you guys do have kids, I think we already know that our kids do this all the time. But like our daughter, who's going to be 4 in June, she knows what she wants to wear.
Yes, she does.
She knows her favorite clothes, and she wears the same clothes over and over again. So it's like, I think we're all born to know what we want and make decisions, and then somehow materialism and like everything else gets like advertisements gets in the way and convolutes like our decision making process. So if you don't believe us or think that this is possible for you, look at your kids.
Yeah.
Look at their wardrobe.
They know what they want. She's got
hysterical.
her 5 or 6 pair of pants that she likes, and then she's got her 5 or 6 shirts that she
Yep.
likes, and that is it.
And I'm about like, because she's so confident, it's like I can streamline her wardrobe as well, because there's so much stuff that she has that we got from grandparents, but it's really cute. But she's like, no, it doesn't make me feel confident. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. So I'm like, nope. So it's kind of funny just seeing innately like Lucille already have these skills.
She does like her holiday theme stuff, though.
She does.
That's
but she wears it all the time, which
yeah.
I love. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to wear the St. Patrick's Day thing whenever the hell I want, Mom. And I'm like, you do you, Bill, because you don't think about what other people are going to
Yeah,
think.
the Easter dress has
So-
been very popular as well.
She's inspiration, just like to follow her lead in
Yeah.
this whole wardrobe game. So thanks, Lucille.
Yeah. All right, Jilly, how about we dive into some resources today?
Cool. All right. So I mean, I wrote 3 blog posts about wardrobe. I thought I had to use one of mine on the Clean and Simple Life. So
Why not?
I had my top, let's see, I had 9 lessons that I've learned after completing many like clothing challenges, and I just wanted to share them out.
Do it.
Okay. Number 1, I enjoy having less clothing options because that means less time spent thinking about choosing what to wear. This means less stress. Number 2, I've discovered my realistic style versus my dream style. I didn't need 5 pairs of high heels, just 1 to 2 pairs of really stylish and comfortable shoes. Number 3, I feel more grateful for the clothing I own now, which helps me appreciate and take good care of the clothing in my closet. Number 4, I am more confident and feel sexier than ever because every piece of clothing I own is my favorite and fits perfectly. Number 5, I have found new, healthier habits like walking to replace my shopping addiction because I did have one. Holy moly. Number 6, when I shop, I choose quality versus quantity. This means I take time choosing a new wardrobe item. No more impulsive purchases. I've saved so much money
Oh, yeah.
and headspace because of that. Number 7, I am more creative when I have less stuff to work with. And that's just kind of in reference to like choosing basic items that have versatility. Number 8, accessories like jewelry and hats can really change the mood of an outfit. I don't need a completely new or different outfit. Maybe I just add a different accessory to change the tone.
Backwards hat.
Sexy. And number 9, nobody notices when you wear the same pants 3 days in a row.
Truth.
It's all in our heads.
That is 100% true.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
All right. And how about your quote of the day there, Jill?
Quote of the day is by Joshua Becker. It's better to have extra time on your hands and extra money in your pocket than extra stuff in your closet.
Touche.
Wise wisdom.
Yeah. And your take action challenge is?
Simplify your wardrobe.
Yeah. Do it. Make some space in that closet and
some-
those drawers.
Space in your closet
Sometimes you
means space
can
in your
put-
head.
Sometimes you can put drawers in your closet. That's where both of our dressers are.
Or in our closet.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I love it.
Me too.
All right. Well, I thought this was an awesome episode, and that's going to do it for today.
Way to pat yourself on the back, Nick.
Well, you too. If you like this episode, please do us a favor and help us spread the message. You can do this by writing a review or simply by sharing this episode with a friend. And remember, sharing sparks a conversation, conversation leads to action, and action is how we're able to live a happy and intentional as hell lifestyle. We want to thank you all for listening today, and we will see you again next week.
See y'all later.